Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Hardball. And that is because yesterday we had a full moon at 7 degrees of Scorpio, and that's a fixed financial sign. And we know under a full moon that the moon opposes the sun. So the moon was at 7 degrees of Scorpio. That means that the sun was at 7 degrees of Taurus, another fixed financial sign. But Uranus was there as well, and so was Venus, and so was Mercury. So these 5 planets were all opposing each other, which just by that indication there can be tension in financial matters right now. But there's more than that going on. That's why the title of the show is Hardball, because all 5 of these planets are also squaring Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, and Aquarius rules the future. So there are a lot of people that can be a little worried about their financial future for one reason or another, and they are in a mood to play hardball right now. And so this is a time when you have to be very, very careful, particularly if you are making any kind of money. So that would be at your job or in sales or something like that, or also if you're investing, or if you're just betting money on something, or even if you're saving money. All of those things could be at risk right now under this rather torturous full moon. And since it was yesterday in early degrees, 7 degrees, that means the full moon is still there today, and we can be feeling that tension as well. So who could suffer because of a hardball action of one sort or another? Well, there can be people that are a little bit desperate right now, and they can be wanting to gamble or bet on a long shot. The reason why betting comes up is because the planets in Aquarius, Saturn and Jupiter, which are being harshly squared by the 5 planets in the fixed signs as well, those planets in Aquarius are all opposing the sign of Leo, which does rule gambling and horse racing and children and sports and the entertainment field as well. So anything that any fixed sign, and there are 4 of them, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, anything these signs rule is at risk right now. So somebody who's desperately making a bet on something right now, and who may be betting on a long shot, are risking a huge loss right now. Or it can be that there can be people that are making some sort of speculative investment right now, and perhaps they're doing it on margin. They haven't quite paid for the whole thing, but as a little bit of time has passed, they can see that, oops, there aren't any real results to show for it, and yet they may have to come up with more money. So they are risking a huge debt that they would have to be facing. Well, that's not too good, because the full moon today in Scorpio rules debt. It also rules taxes. Painful subjects. And then there are people that, you've heard the phrase, that they have champagne tastes, but they live on a beer budget. Well, that could be true of a lot of people right now who have a lavish lifestyle, but they don't quite have the income to cover it. So expensive tastes, but not enough money to really live comfortably. So they can be at risk right now too when the bills come due, or when the taxes have to be paid. And then there are people that are so creative and so inventive and so sort of out ahead of everybody that they don't care about money. In other words, getting down to paying the rent every month is not something that they care about. So they too are at risk right now, because this full moon today in Scorpio is an indication that the main problem right now could be some kind of debt. And this is especially true for large corporations or large government agencies or the budgets of whole countries. In fact, the bigger you are, the greater financial pain you could suffer right now. So this is not a time to take a chance on anything. I don't advise it, because these 7 planets in the fixed signs are so harshly aspected. I don't think anyone's going to win, at least not financially right now. So try to do your best and try to pay down debt if you can. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. For you, since there aren't any planets in the fire signs, you can be looking around and you can have sort of big eyes right now looking at things that could be very expensive. And that's because the 4 planets in Taurus are right ahead of your sun sign. Taurus represents big money and expensive things. It's ruled by Venus, so it rules very good art or good architecture, or it rules commercial real estate such as shopping centers and apartment houses or office buildings. And so you could have your mind on something that Taurus rules, and you may feel as if, oh, you have the money and you sort of want to jump into something. Well, Aries, I advise you not to do that right now. And the reason why is you would be paying too high a price. And so you need to be a little bit careful that you're not overpaying for something right now. We all have to be careful of that. And yet, life goes on, and sometimes you can be a victim of what someone else is overcharging you for. But Aries, this may not be, since there's not a lot of strength in the fire signs, this is not a time for you to take a gamble or a chance on anything. But you are well supported by other people that are pretty financially secure, because the 4 planets in Taurus are ahead of your sun sign, and right behind your sun sign is Neptune in Pisces. It rules Pisces. So you have really strong, good planets around your sign, but nothing in it. And that is why I say, you may not have quite the reserve you think you need in order to go forward. So I would say this is not quite the right time to spend your money, Aries. Just for now, hold on to it if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus, there are 4 planets in your sun sign. You certainly can feel like charging forward right now. And that is sort of a good idea. After all, your sign has not only 4 good planets in it, one of which is your ruler, Venus, but they're also all being trine by Pluto in Capricorn. And that means your sign has support, really good support. And Pluto represents people in large corporations or government agencies that have really got an agenda, and they operate from a position of strength, and they can be after the money too. Taurus rules the New York Stock Exchange. It also rules the countries of Germany and of Israel. And so people who are strong the sign of Taurus really have a sort of a practical, hard-working attitude. But there can be speculators around, and it's a good idea if you are not one of them, Taurus, because this is a time when people could lose money, that their money could be at risk. Even while they're making it, or while they're investing it, or even when they're saving it, because there aren't any high interest rates around. You're not getting much if you try to save your money right now, but you might be overpaying and wasting it on something that isn't really quite worth the price that they're asking either. So I'm urging you to make your plans, Taurus, but I would say this isn't quite the right time for you to be laying down the money on something, so I would delay that. If you're in the middle of a negotiation, I'd string that out a little longer, Taurus, because that full moon in Scorpio is opposing all 4 planets in your sign. When the sun and the moon oppose or square each other, it leads to indecision and confusion. So I don't think you'd get the whole story on something right now. And for that reason, I don't think you should put your money down either. Just wait if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. This is a time when I think that you can be thinking a lot about the future, but that you too are undecided right now. Remember, the lights are in the financial signs, the fixed financial signs, and 5 of the 10 planets are only in Scorpio and Taurus. And therefore, Gemini, since yours is a gentle, mutable sign that rules communication and youth and short journeys and casual acquaintances, this is a time, and it rules the news, this is a time when you should try to be maybe as lighthearted as possible. Think about the summer fun that you could have, Gemini, or think of not taking things quite so seriously anymore. The 4 planets in Taurus that are right behind your sun sign are what you might call heavy-duty planets, and one of them is your ruler, Mercury, which is about to come into your sign. And so, Gemini, I know you're thinking about money behind the scenes, but I do not think that this is the right time for you to make a commitment about the money. And therefore, I don't think you should make a commitment about a partnership either. And that is because Aquarius rules the future, and Saturn is a planet of commitment. It's in Aquarius, it's trining your sun, and Jupiter is also trining your sun. But the problem is those 2 planets in Aquarius are getting hit by the 5 that are in the fixed signs. All 5 square the planets in Aquarius, so they can't be much help to you right now. And that's why I think that you should go on vacation or sort of tread water a little bit and try to stretch something out right now, or don't take things so seriously right now. I don't think you have to make a commitment at the moment, Gemini. And even if you're considering a partner, I think you've got a sort of a nice lead time. So you don't have to make up a decision now. You could even look for a little better proof of who should be a good partner and then make up your mind later if you want. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. You know, this full moon today in Scorpio trines your sun, Cancer. This is rather good for you because the moon is your own ruler, and that simply means there could be more money coming your way, Cancer. And I know that you would use it for your home and your family and your loved ones, which is what your sign rules. On top of that, Neptune is in Pisces, and it too is trining your sun. So the lights are really sort of with you right now. They're more favorable than unfavorable. In fact, the only cardinal sign that you need to worry about is Capricorn, because Pluto in Capricorn is opposing Mars, which is now in your sign. And so an opposition is hard to live with. It means you aren't going to get cooperation from everybody. But on the other hand, the moon in Scorpio is going to probably bring you some money or a tax advantage, something that could benefit you in your taxes as well. And Neptune in Pisces can bring you gentle understanding from others behind the scenes and really good, warm-hearted feelings. And to a Cancer, that's almost worth more than money. So I think that you are under more good aspects than bad, Cancer, right now. And I think you can be looking for more money coming in. But hold on to it, Cancer. This is not the time to spend it. It's the time to save it. What does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when you just cannot afford to make a move in any direction, Leo. Why is that? Well, 7 planets are all dumping their frustration and anguish into your sign. And that is because the full moon today in Scorpio is squaring your sun. So I think you've either got your mind on taxes or on money coming in, or even debts or loans or bills that need paying, or heavy expenses that you are contemplating in the future and you are not looking forward to that. And on top of that, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius are opposing your sun sign, and they are under a lot of duress right now. And so if there were any problems that you had health-wise, such as with your heart, your back, or your blood supply, this is a time when you might want to fix all of that, Leo, before it gets worse. Mars is coming into your sign by the middle of June and will stay there all the way through the end of July. And that's when there will be a lot of heart attacks, but I sure hope you're not having one, Leo. And that's why you have to be careful of your health. And then financially, the 4 planets in Taurus are all squaring your sun, which means not all of your investments are working out the way you thought they would. Or it can be that some expensive future project that you're contemplating is still too high priced, that somebody would like to put a nice gloss on the value of something, and I would say that it won't hold up. In other words, the estimation is too high. And for that reason, I don't think it's necessarily that you can or cannot afford something, Leo, but this is just not the right time for you to be spending your money on something. Even if you've got a lot of money, I wouldn't do it, because nobody can be sure of the value of things right now under this rather torturous full moon in Scorpio. So just hang on to everything and try to improve your health if you can. Because you know, Leo, it's much cheaper to stay out of the hospital than to go into it. So try to stay away. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo, excuse me. Your sign rules health. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Your sign rules health. Mine should get better. Anyway, it's being beautifully aspected by the 4 planets in Taurus, which are trining your sign, and by Pluto in Capricorn, which is also trining your sign. Half of all the planets, 5 of them, are trining your sun sign, Virgo. So your health should be improving. And your investments should be hopefully getting pared a little bit down to things that have a truer value. In other words, if you have invested in something that you thought was going to be showing some pretty good results by now, and unfortunately they're not showing those results for whatever reason, then why are you still holding on to it, Virgo? You really need to sort of let go of something that is not meeting the expectations that you had when you started with it. If these expectations have fallen, then you should take your money and run and just leave it alone. Because that's the way business goes. That's sort of a hardball attitude, but it's also a practical one. I mean, so you want that your money is well placed. Remember I said that not only was making money, investing money, betting money, but also saving money could be at risk now, because we should be doing things with our money that will give us a good return. But that's hard to find these days. And the reason why, Virgo, is because the costs are going up on everything. But, you know, the incomes aren't. And so they're, you know, as the costs rise and the incomes stay where they are, that's going to create a lot of problems. And that's why you have to make sure you're really getting your money's worth out of your investments or your bets or whatever you're doing. And if you're not, you need to get out. Just get out and pull out. And there'll be other things. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when I think that you can be anticipating a future money problem of one sort or another. Now, it might be something that you really feel is you know, part of life, such as paying your taxes. Because they extended the tax deadline into May. So a lot of people, of course, would put it off till the last minute, and that's coming up in a few weeks. So what you need to do, Libra, is really look things over and make sure that you've got your money where it has to be. In other words, you may know of upcoming bills that need to be paid. You may know of some sort of asset allocations that you need to make. You may want to shift your savings around a little bit, trying to get a little bit better yield or a better return. Whatever it is, you don't want to get caught up in the hardball that other people are playing right now. And it's getting played by people who are desperate. That's why they're playing hardball. And so I think, Libra, your nature is not to fight. Excuse me. So I think what you need to do is realize that a lot of people can have their future threatened, including you, if they don't sort of make a new strategy or review their strategy for their financial dealings, which is what you should be doing. And the reason why you need to review that and maybe alter or change a few things is because Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, which rules the future, are trining your sun, but they are under such great pressure today from 7 planets in fixed signs that are squaring and opposing each other, that the future is looking a little risky no matter which way you look at it. And you want to avoid that, Libra. So Libra rules beauty, and it rules having nice times. And let's just put it this way, Libra. You may want to go to the dance right now, but there may not be a lot of people to dance with, and this may not be the time to do that. You just have to more or less stick to the basics right now and make sure you've got a financial cushion somewhere that you can draw on pretty quickly if you need it, because you might. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio, the full moon yesterday and today are in your sign. And I must say they're taking a beating, Scorpio. But yours is a fixed sign. Fixed signs are wonderful for surviving through things, particularly your sign, because your sign rules survival. So I'm not too worried about you, Scorpio. It's just that the 4 planets in Taurus, the Sun, Venus, Uranus, and Mercury are all opposing the full moon in your sign today. That means big money wants their share. They want whatever they can get right now, and they don't care what you want. You better realize that, Scorpio. And then on top of that, they feel the same way about the planets that are in Aquarius, which are squaring your sun, Scorpio. And they're feeling that way about the things that Leo represents, which is also squaring your sun. So I don't think, even with the moon in your sign, that this is a good time for you to take a step, at least a financial step, in any direction, Scorpio. And that is because some people might want to play hardball harder than even you would withstand. Other people may have wanted to cover up huge mistakes they've made by themselves. Well, why should you pay for that? You shouldn't. Just stand back and let them pay for it if they created that. And if you have placed any bets, you may be in a position where you're losing that now. So, Scorpio, just sort of throttle back a little bit and very quietly, since your sign rules secrecy, very quietly decide on your own private strategy for your finances, perhaps for this year and the next 2 or 3 years. At least plan that real carefully. And as I told Libra, maybe this is a good time to sit something out instead. Much better time for that. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, you know, this is a time when summer is coming and you may want to travel because that's what your sign rules. Well, that would be great if everybody else was in the same boat or wanted to do those things, or if the money was flowing freely everywhere, but it just isn't. We've been through a terrible pandemic worldwide. So wherever you want to travel to, they're having some of the same problems in their country that we've been having in ours with the pandemic and, you know, the fallout from it. But we are recovering, and I think, Sagittarius, that since yours is such a high-minded and religious and philosophical sign, and since you're, you know, a pretty smart person, you may decide to spend some of your time doing something good for others, and that's good. You might be an international volunteer for some large group that really needs your help right now. Well, why don't you give that a try? It wouldn't necessarily cost you anything, Sagittarius, but it would make a huge difference to other people. We know that the hardball that's being played right now is about money, but behind the money there has to be assets. There has to be something of value. And I don't think you should get involved with any of that. That full moon was right behind your sun sign. You know, there's a lot of light in the background of your life, Sagittarius. People can sort of see what you've been doing. And if there is any debt in your life, that has to be the first thing that you address. But at the same time, you could ask yourself, what are some of the talents that you have that money can't buy? And this could be an excellent time for you to really use those talents. It may not cost you or anyone else a whole lot, but it could mean the world to a lot of people. And it could do what my aunt would always say was good for your soul growth. And so you might think about that as we sit out a time of hardball that we're not necessarily creating, but we could call it a financial rough spot, and we got to get through it. But I don't think we can get through it by playing hardball back. Oh, no, that's not a good way. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when you have enormous financial backup somewhere, Capricorn. And the reason why is that the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Uranus and Taurus are all trining your Sun where you have Pluto. That's half of all the planets in the heavens are only in Earth signs. So Capricorn, you have a powerful planet in your sign, Pluto, which is a real slow mover. So as it slowly goes through your sign, it slowly creates an awareness of the strength that you have within you. And this has been going on for years, but you are, it will culminate soon. And you're beginning to feel you really are powerful with your own talent. And that is the kind of talent that maybe you should turn into money, Capricorn. Maybe you should get out there and try to sell some of that talent or market it in one way or another, because you have a good mind. You would know how to do that. It's just that you might lack the confidence. Well, try to get over that and realize there are other people in worse trouble than you, Capricorn, so you don't have much to lose. Just go ahead and try to do something that sets you up for actively using your talent as you go forward in a very long life. And that is because Capricorns often live to be 100. It rules time. So older is better, Capricorn. That's all I'm saying. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Aquarius. You can be feeling the heat or the pressure, or you can be feeling somebody around you that wants to play hardball. Let's hope they want to do that with somebody other than you, Aquarius, because, yours is a lighthearted air sign that is extremely creative. But when people make financial mistakes, they can either get desperate or very greedy, or they can be extremely deceptive. And as long as it ruins you and it doesn't ruin them, they don't care. And so you really need to keep your guard up like this, Aquarius, because the 4 planets in Taurus are squaring Jupiter and Saturn in your sign, and the full moon today in Scorpio is also squaring them. And that means your future is at risk right now, Aquarius. Now, it might be at risk by all the high taxes that are being proposed right now. Scorpio rules taxes, but it also rules debt. So you have to make sure and pay that off. And then Taurus rules investments and property. And if you have any, that too could be at risk once again because of changes in the laws about inheritance or about grants, or about insurance proceeds. All of those things are ruled by Scorpio, which is squaring your sun. So you are particularly financially vulnerable right now, Aquarius. And that is why you need to quietly step back and sort of take a look at everything. And if I were you, I'd do a lot more thinking right now than talking. And the reason why is I'm not so sure you can trust the people you've been talking to lately. And therefore, maybe it's a good idea if you stayed a little bit quieter right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, that full moon today in Scorpio and yesterday were trining your sun. Isn't that wonderful, Pisces? Because you have Neptune in your sun sign. So you must be feeling pretty good in anticipation of some money that could be coming your way. Now, it might be coming through an income tax refund. It might be coming from some kind of inheritance, because a lot of people are having to change their financial strategies in the light of new laws that may be passed that could be punitive or make their investments much more expensive. And so, you know, you do have to play a little bit of hardball. Now, that's not your nature, Pisces, but you do have to be very practical about the money and about your bills right now. And whatever happens, try to pay down your bills and try to pay down debt. And there may actually, since the full moon is trining your sun, there may be some more money coming your way so that you can do that. And that would mean you could sort of get out from under or meet future obligations, and that would be a good idea. So I don't think you're going to get involved in hardball, but if you know other people that are getting involved that way, I think that you need to be non-committal. I don't think you can solve their problems. So if I were you, I wouldn't get involved in a conversation about them. Just be as quiet as you can. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.